Thank you very much. Again, welcome everyone, particularly to this new Toastmasters year. We don't have any guests tonight. That will save us some time. And I believe that at the back end of the meeting, hopefully we will have had one or two guests. We would call on them, recognize their presence, and then before we wrap up the meeting. With that said, I appreciate the privilege of being one of the officers of this club this year, particularly its president. And the good news is, let me break this news to you all. I just got the email from the TI headquarters approving my DTM application this morning. So effectively today, they say effective July 1st, I am a DTM. So I'm so glad that this group is the first that I'm announcing it to. I really appreciate all your support over the years. The road hasn't been smooth, but I'm glad that I'm here. So thank you also very much. Without further, I know that, without further ado, I'd really like to make sure we have the Pledge of Allegiance. I've got a flag here. Okay, thank you very much. We've got two flags. How lucky are we? Thank you also very much for that. And with that said, shall we please recite a Pledge of Allegiance? Let's go. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
United States of
America,
America,
and to
and to
the
the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you also very much. Now, with that said, I'd really like to hand over this meeting to the Toastmaster of the evening. And our Toastmaster of the evening is no one else other than Anthony Ally. Anthony needs no introduction. And he has actually made the journey to tonight a lot easier for all of us as officers of the club. We didn't have to worry to send emails and anything like that. With that said, Anthony, I'm handing this meeting over to you as the Toastmaster of the night. Thank you so much for choosing to be the Toastmaster. Over to you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Everyone join me in the stratosphere beyond our ozone layer and start experiencing this meeting as we're going to help one another to network for success. We want to truly engage one another, to find out more about each other, to promote one another, to move out of our comfort zones, especially when it comes to table topics. I want to make sure that everyone says, great, can I have 2 chances, 3 chances? Let me get in there. I want to be able to practice those incredible, powerful questions that Avi is going to throw at us, because this is going to make a difference in how we network with one another. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about your strength. Tell us how we can help you succeed. We are here to help one another succeed. You can succeed so much better with one another than we can by ourselves. That's why our unique club specifically is set for that purpose. And we're here tonight to kick off this year with this incredible, powerful venue saying, let's fly with one another into our outer space and help each other. Elon Musk, we're going to leave him behind. We're going to go together. We're going to say, Elon, thank you for all you've done. We're going to go with you. We're going to go beyond you. We're going to help each other into a new sphere for our careers, for our families, for our businesses, and for our spiritual legacy, our legacy beyond this world that will last forever. With that, we have an incredible team to help us get there. First of all, I'm going to introduce our general evaluator for this evening, Michael. Michael, please introduce yourself and tell us about your team.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the evaluator is to evaluate everything that takes place throughout the meeting, during the meeting, and I will note everything that happened and does not happen. I will evaluate each participant on the meeting program and look for good example of preparation, organization, delivery, enthusiasm, observation, and performance of duties. And at the end of the meeting, I will give my report. As we all know, I cannot do this by myself. I have an awesome team that's going to help us to achieve this goal. Our timer is Mr. Okpa Kalu. The accountant is Jessica Som, and the grammarian is George Albert. As we all know, Noma has the sovereign power. That's why we are here to network tonight and to make this meeting a great one. Now we call on the accountant to give us, to introduce herself and her roles. Over to you, accountant.
Okay, good evening. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I'm the accountant for the day today, and my role is to note the usage of words and sounds used as a crutch or a pause filler by anyone who speaks during the meeting. So words like and, well, but, so, you know, and sounds maybe and other filler words that speaking by speakers. At the end of the meeting, I will give my report. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Okanta. At this time, we'll introduce Mr. George Alban to the grammarian to introduce his role.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility tonight to pay close attention and listen very carefully to the language uses of all the speakers. I will take note of any improper use of language, as well as outstanding words, quotes, and sayings and thoughts. Also, as a grammarian, it's my duty to introduce the word of the day, which tonight, I don't know why I choose a word so difficult to pronounce, but it's sovereignty, which means the authority of a state to govern itself or to govern another state. An example of the use of the word sovereignty is the country claims sovereignty over the island. Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Grammarian. At this time, I will call on our timer, Mr. Karokpa, to introduce his role.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Tonight, I'll be serving as a timer for this meeting. And my role is to ensure that all those that will be playing one role or the other keep to the time. And tonight we have only one prepared speech, and that speech will be 5 minutes to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, he will qualify, so he will get the green.
Sorry, it's 8 to 10 minutes.
Well, you might need to adjust it on the program and the agenda. The agenda
is there on the agenda.
It showed a 5 to 7.
No, it's showing 2 to 3 and 5 to 7.
Okay, so what is it now?
It's 8 to 10.
Okay, so 10 minutes is the maximum. Okay.
Correct.
So which means that 7 you qualify. Is that what it means?
Yes.
Okay. Then anything beyond 10, 30 seconds will be disqualified.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then for the table topic, that would be 2 minutes. And once it's 1 minute, you will get the green. And once it's 1 minute, 30 seconds, you will get the yellow. Once it's 2 minutes, I will give you red, and you have 30 seconds to wrap up. And for the evaluator is at 2 minutes, I will show you the green. 2.5 minutes, I will show you the yellow. At 3 minutes, I will put the red, and that will mean you have 30 seconds to conclude. And at the end of the meeting, I will also come to give a report about how we performed. I return it back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Timon. As we all can see, we have a qualified team to help us pilot this meeting. And at this moment, this time, I will hand over control to the Toastmaster. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Before we do, I just want to make sure tonight's ballot counter, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I am the 11th hour ballot counter, and I'm going to actually push it out electronically. I think I figured it out. I'm going to do it. So, but don't shoot me in case I get it wrong at the last minute, but I'm going to try. I think I figured it out. And I think it's only the table topics that we're going to be ballot counting tonight. So I will push it out. That is really my role. Back to you, sir, Mr. Toastmaster.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to that event and making sure that everyone is on there having lots of fun. With that, I want to share tonight that our next speaker, Akin, has been with Toastmaster since the fall of 2016. Holy smokes. He has had different club and district level roles and is currently a member of not one, not two, but 3 clubs. Holy wow. Every one of us better get on the board and start joining more clubs. He recently applied for his first DTM award, and we heard tonight that he actually has been approved. He is in there, our distinguished Toastmaster. When not at his desk, our Toastmaster event, Akin enjoys photography, writing, traveling, professional networking. Yes, tonight, networking for success. Spending quality time with his family. How vital that is. And all things related to football. No, we're not talking American football. We're talking international football, what Americans like to call soccer. Tonight, Akin will be completing his level 3 visionary communication project. Focus on the positive, elective titled, You've Got It. Join me in giving a standing ovation for our keynote speaker for tonight, Mr. Akin Oni.
Could your life forever be changed by what you have that you know not that you have? Could your life forever be changed by what you know you have, but don't deploy fully? Could your goals this year be exceeded by being intentional about fully deploying your weapons effectively? I am here to tell you tonight that you've got it. You are fully loaded. All you need is you, the total you. Tonight, I will share with you 4 of the many weapons that I deploy every day in my life. Let me share this disclaimer with you. I am not doing this every second of every day, but I'm on a journey and I'm doing my very, very best to deploy these weapons. But if I ask you tonight, for example, if you are in Steve Harvey's class and they say we interviewed 100 people and we talked about the word weapons and asked them that question, what was their first response? Can somebody unmute themselves and tell me, when you hear the word weapons, what jumps at you? Anybody? Yes.
Gone.
Gone, thank you.
Knowledge.
Knowledge, thank you.
You're in the war.
What's that?
You're in the war.
They're in the war, yeah, exactly. Now, tonight, I'm going to share with you 4 of the many weapons that I use in my personal life to achieve my goals, to overcome obstacles, and to become the best me that I can be. Weapon number one, shockingly, is sleep. I know I'm kind of hitting some people where it hurts the most by saying that. But sleep is actually a weapon. Because when we talk about a weapon, you use a weapon to protect, you use a weapon to destroy. Many of us, we actually use sleep to not really help ourselves. I'm not going to say we're using it to destroy ourselves, but we're not using it to help ourselves. When you sleep, I'm not talking about the hours that you spend in bed, just laying there, but when you actually have rest. What does that do to you the following day or after the rest? You become more energized, you become more empowered, your head is clearer, and you can go and think clearly. I'm here tonight to focus on the positive aspect of sleep by saying, I want to encourage you. Let getting a good night rest be important to you. Weapon number two, mind. My father passed away at age 89. 5 years before he passed away, I realized that he would sit still in one spot and it wasn't his active self. And I realized that very slowly he was losing his mind. And I've met people who have lost their mind. Can I tell you tonight that many people don't value their minds until they see those who have lost theirs? Here's my question for you tonight. Do you value your mind? One of my favorite books has this saying that make sure you protect your heart, because that is where all the issues of life flow from. Guide your heart, guide your mind. I am here tonight to tell you that about weapon number two, guide your mind. What are you saying to yourself? What are you thinking about yourself? What are you thinking about people around you? Are you positive or you are negative? Do you believe that they can or you believe that they cannot? It is vitally important, but it starts with you. And that is what emotional intelligence teaches. Mastering yourself, managing yourself first before you can talk about relationship with other people. Weapon number three, as Ohe said, is knowledge. Many times in your life, you will be told that knowledge is power. Maybe you have heard that several times. Maybe you even believe that. Can I tell you tonight that I actually do not believe in that saying? Knowledge is not power. And I'll give you my real life example. When I was in Canada, I was way heavier than I am today. And I was told by my doctor and my personal trainer what I needed to do. But because of the busyness of life and my children being young at the time, my wife and I were in very high profile roles. I couldn't do much about it, so I did not do it. But I knew what I was supposed to do. 7 years later, 7 years into our stay in Canada, we got transferred to Australia. I got to Australia, similar doctors told me the same thing, similar personal trainers told me the exact same thing. And I will tell you, between October 30th and October 30th, 2008 and February 28th, 2009, I lost 40 pounds just by doing exactly what I was asked to do in Canada that I didn't do, and I did it in Perth. What's the difference? In Perth, I effectively applied what I knew. So in my mind and in my word, effective application of knowledge is power. It is a weapon. How are you applying what you know? Are you applying it to benefit yourself? That is my challenge to you tonight. Choose from this day on. Use what you know positively. Be intentional about it. Effectively deploy what you know. Number three. That's knowledge. Okay, number four. I will tell you a simple story. Number four is word. Sergeant Corrigan teaches police science at the New York City Police Academy. One day, he walked up to the classroom and he told the cadets, he said, guys, if you go through your career and you never have to use your weapon once, by my account, you have had a very successful career. This is what you use to grow yourself. This is what you use to get people to comply. This is what you use to get something done that you want done. This is your powerful and the most powerful weapon. Not this. This. Just think about that. What are you saying to yourself? I grew up in a village with no infrastructure in Western Nigeria. The elders in the village would say to us then that eggs, that's what words are. That is, words are eggs. Not that words are like eggs. They will tell you that words are eggs. And what happens if you drop eggs, you can't really pick it up again as a whole. And that's what words are. What kind of word are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to others? Every day, I live my life looking for ways to be positive, to challenge myself. As most of you know now, I don't motivate people. I inspire people. And that's what leaders do. And with where I am right now, by the grace of God in my career, all I do is inspire people. Do the best that I can through challenging tasks, through encouraging them that they can do what I know they can do. I don't know what your goals are this year. I don't know what your desires are this year. I am here to tell you that if you can deploy sleep positively, if you can use your mind the right way, if you can effectively apply knowledge, and if you can use your words wisely, you will not only achieve your goals for this year, you will exceed expectations. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
I am purposefully silent because I'm in awe of the incredible keynote. Thank you, Akin. Very moving, truly transforming, and really helping us to get on board on this great spaceship and move out of our comfort zone to achieve what we cannot do on our own. It is a great way for us to take sovereign control of our sphere of influence, of our minds, our words, and all these areas in order to achieve what we couldn't do. Thank you so much. With that, I am going to ask everyone to take 1 minute and share your insights to give number 4 words to Akin to encourage him on what moved you tonight and share 1 point of improvement. You got 1 minute. Timer, please hit for 1 minute.
More than 1 minute gone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone who sent your note. If you're still writing your dissertation to give to Akin, please continue. You don't have to stop at 1 minute. But with that, we are going to move on. But before we do, I want to share something. What Akin said, thankfully, we have recorded. The great news, we're going to make sure we upload this video by itself, and we're going to ask you to share. Share on LinkedIn. Share with your network. Share with everyone. I want you to send it out to friends. I want you to tell them and inspire them. Why? Just because they couldn't be here tonight doesn't mean they have to miss out. Our members, when they get this, they'll say, I don't want to miss the next one. That will help. But not only that, they will get benefit. Schedules come up, right? We cannot attend for one reason or another. We don't want to miss out the blessing of this message and just be a quiet sound that goes in an isolated forest somewhere and the tree falls and no one hears. Akin gave a powerful message. He's prepared this for us as a gift. We want to make sure we encourage by applying networking for success principles and going out and telling the whole world, this is what Akin said, this is what I got, this is the benefit. Everyone that's going to do that, would you raise your hand if you're going to do that so I will hold you accountable? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, well, we got 6 going in. I like it. Thank you for doing that. Now, guess what's happening next? This is your part. You get to participate. And we have none other than our master table topics master, Mr. Avi, to lead us in this role. Woo!
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Looks like today we have less members, and what does it mean? A lot of table topic question, in fact, like a couple of opportunities for individual people here. All right, so this is the format we're gonna do. Now that we have less people, I'll be calling out names, and then I'll give you the question. You have 15 to 30 seconds to think about it, and then 1 minute minimum to talk about it. All right, let's go ahead. To begin with, who's on my list here? Okay, let's start with Jorge. Jorge, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Let's go.
So let's say somebody approaches you and they say, I am going to work for this organization or that organization. Let's say your organization. What are the 3 tips that you would be giving someone who just changed their career from something else and now getting into your organization?
Very interesting question. Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. I will say, when somebody asks me what will be the 3 main points that I will give as an advice in order to work in my organization, the first thing is to learn as much as they can as soon as possible about everything about the job that they have to do. Not just to go sit at their desk and reply to emails, but really get in details in everything that takes to do the job the best possible way. So I would say, first of all, focus on the technical aspects of the job. Second aspects are not less important, is the personal aspect. The same way that they have to learn everything about the job that they are going to be doing is to learn everything possible about the people they are going to be working with, either working under them or even they will be responding to. It's very important in organization to know all the players, not only the major players, not only the important one, not only the bosses, but also even the people that apparently doesn't have much decision power, but in many organizations, they are the ones who actually run business. So that would be my second advice. And third advice, and the most important of the 3 of them, I will say, is know your customers. In my line of business, which is a government, you have to know your constituents, you have to know your residents. If you are in a sales, you have to know the people you are selling the product to, you have to know their preferences, you have to know why they are choosing your product or not. You cannot just do your work and pretend that they don't exist, because the whole purpose of your job is to satisfy those customers. Those will be the three key aspects that I will recommend anybody that is taking a job in an organization that I work for. Thank you very much.
Very well said, very well articulated, and amazing answer. Thanks a lot, Jorge. Next, Susan, your chance. Before I put you in the magazine that says Person of the Year, you would be getting a 15-minute fame of doing something extraordinary. What is that 15 minutes of fame that you want to get or you desire to get?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. Actually, I would like to use this opportunity to answer the question that you have just asked Jorge, because I find that it is very meaningful. How would I like to advise give three advice to the new hire for a company? Number one, I believe the sovereignty of God. You got that job is not because of how good you are. Well, maybe it's also because of how good you are, but it also because God wants you to be there. There is a reason why you're there. Therefore, I would say you pray hard, because you are being in a position where you are meant to be. You cannot do it on your own. You had to have the sovereignty of God. Secondly, you find a personal coach. Landing a new job, many times you are in a place where you don't quite know your way around yet. So you need a coach. You need a career coach to help you to figure out the way, maybe to promote, to be better at the new job where you're at. And third, to be the CEO of your name incorporated. That means that you are not going there to just get a paycheck. You are going there to represent yourself as the CEO of your name incorporated. Therefore, I think that with those three aspects, the new hire will go to a good start. Back to you, Mr. Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Susan. Wonderfully said. And you just added a lot of new dimension of how we look at it. Thanks a lot for sharing that. Anthony, now that the previous question was or is still open, would you like to take that? And the question is, if you have to get famous for 15 minutes, or generally we call like 15 minutes of fame, you get to choose the reason why you want to be famous for 15 minutes, what it would be.
The most famous article that might highlight me for 15 minutes will be the great book of life and eternal rewards. What I want to see would be at that moment said, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." That I utilized my skills to enter closer to God, to draw near to Him, to have a strength inside of me that was apart from me, that I was decreasing and God was increasing, that I was connecting to Him regularly with every breath, consciously and unconsciously, awake or sleep, that I was drawing near to Him and allowing the kingdom of God to grow in my heart. And in that spirit, as the kingdom of God grew in me, I overflown that incredible agape spirit of God's love to others. to help them experience the talents that I was given freely by God, the air to breathe, the skills I have, the opportunities to connect, the technology is given, that I use this to help others to achieve a closeness to their highest purpose in life that will impact forever how they will live for millions of years beyond this life. And in that moment, I hope that I will be getting the cover of the magazine saying, he is humble. He is not exalting himself. He is not thinking of himself, but he is considering how to be a greater servant to others. That this person is in the magazine, but he really is humbly bowing down and opening his arms and giving glory to God, from whom all blessings flow. And he's receiving this and giving that glory to others, and not keeping any glory to himself.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot, Anthony. That was so deep and it was very insightful. Thanks for sharing that with us. Moving on, Michael. Michael, I think you have been on the workforce for some time and you have experience in dealing with a lot of situations at work. Now, my question would be, what is something that you would be doing differently if we go in a rewind order and the same work that you're doing today, or the same profession, or the same experience that you have today, and it becomes your day one of your job, going back to the first day of your work, what would you do differently now that you have gained this much of experience?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. So what will I do differently if I'm given the opportunity to rewind to see, after having all the experiences that I had, what will I do differently if I have the opportunity to go back? One is to listen to people more. If I have the opportunity to do that, is to listen to them more and to communicate with them in a way that each and every one of them will understand. Because I've been in a situation whereby I've given orders and I carried out order the way it was given to me. I just want it done like that without input from people that work for me. If I have that opportunity, I will give them more liberty, because liberty is one thing that we yearn for in the military. If you don't have time off, because we need time to spend with our family. And there's been most times that we've been out there doing what we do, we leave our families behind. And when we come back, instead of us to give those junior sailors time off, we still have them to work. We have maintenance to do, we have PMS, we have a lot of stuff to do. If I have to rewind, I will make sure I maximize the time of those that work with me, give them time off to spend with their family. Thank you, Mr. Tibuto Master.
Wonderfully said, well balanced. Thanks a lot, Michael. Jessica, ready?
Yes. Sure.
All right. As per you, what is an ideal management style? Not leadership style, management style.
What's the ideal management style? That's a good question. You said it's not a leadership style, but a management style. I think it's mainly for we all project managers or some sort of project managers in our life, not only at work. So in my mind, to do a good management, I think I always try to make sure my team understand the purpose of doing things, and then they understand the urgency for doing it, why they need to do it, and then get their agreement to do it. Sometimes people drag their feet, but if we don't tell them why, they will just keep delaying it. So I think give them a reason, because we are not the army and we can't really function as an officer, say do this and then people obey. I think we live in America, everybody have their own opinion of doing things. They have all their own priorities. So we have to make sure they understand they are on the board, and then they can do it, and then within the time and budget for doing things. Thank you. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Jessica. That was wonderful, wonderfully said. Akin, external factors generally affects our work performance, either in positive way or in a negative way. Are you a day person or a night person? And how does that affect your work structure?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. I have no choice. I have to be a day person because I have people to lead. If I am a night person and I'm tired all throughout the day, I will not be an effective leader. And remember, as a leader, I focus on effectiveness, not efficiency. A lot of my peers, they focus a lot on efficiency and they are wrong many a time. Why? Effectiveness is doing the right things. Efficiency is doing things right. You can be efficient at wrong things. You will be wrong. Why am I talking about this? My effectiveness arises always out of a good night rest. I try to make sure if sleeping well at night, which I don't do all the time, I like to do that more often. If sleeping well at night means being a night person, then I am a night person. But if being alert during the day is what you mean by being a day person, then I'm a day person. So depending on your definition of day or night person, you can pick whatever applies to you. And with that said, it's vitally important that with the people that I lead, I want to make sure that I am sane, I am alert, I am active, and I can actually have a clear head to provide them the kind of leadership that they deserve from me. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thanks a lot, Akin. That was really good. Thanks a lot for sharing your insights on that. Goodbye. We all know good boss, bad boss. What are, in your terms, most significant characteristics of the people you had worked with in your past experience, who you consider as your bad boss? In short, what made them the worst bosses that you have worked with?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. When you talk about bosses and their approach or the way they do, that could make one to believe either they are worse, bad, or good. For me, I have come to realize in life, nothing is really terrible when it comes to person you are dealing with. I can tell you the experiences I had that I could have believed that was a bad one, but turned out to be the best time for me. I had a boss that was not the type of a listening type. Before you say something, he already made up his mind what he wants to hear. But he is also a man that when he's in trouble, when there is need to deliver, and you are able to get him to where it matters most, he turns to be your best friend. And I remember we had a problem, and that was something that had to do with the regulatory body. We have struggled with it about reporting results. That day I slept in the office and the result came around 2:30 a.m. For those who are conversant with Nigeria and Warri, that was at the peak of insecurity. And right there at that 2 a.m., when I got the hooray, I sent out that mail. That mail I sent, the following morning, the person you could have considered a very bad boss came to tell me two things. He says, Carlo, one thing I have always known, the more I push people, I'm not pushing them because I hate them. I'm pushing them because I want the best out of them. And you have just delivered that. And our department, my director, who is also pushing me, will also be happy with me. So one thing I want to tell you, have an open mind. It doesn't matter how the person behaves, the way you respond matters more. I give it back to you, Mr. Table Topic Master.
Very, very well said, Utpai. Thanks a lot for sharing your experience as well as the outlook that you carry. Thanks a lot. Now that we have finished round one with table topic and every participant is covered, let's change the format a little bit. I think I have 5 more minutes. So that now the format would be, I would be reading out the question, and whoever is interested, please raise your hand and we go from there. All right. The question next, why is vacation or time off an important part in work culture? Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. So why is vacation or time off important in our work life? I would say vacation and time off is very, very important for us to reset. Because if we keep working without taking time off, there's a possibility that we're going to break down. And when we break down, we might not be able to perform in our best. The culture of excellence that we preach all the time will not be there, because when we don't have that time to reset, to have time to spend with family, to see new things, just to get away from the work environment a little bit, to see something differently, that will help us build our mind and help us morally, and also help us build our homes and family. No time off can break family. I've experienced it. I've seen people that have been in that situation without time off, they ended up in separation. Time off will actually help us in a long way to build our relationship and to reset our mind. Thank you, Mr. Topic Master, and over to you.
Very well said, Michael. Thanks a lot for sharing your insights on this. Very well said. All right, a little bit lighter here right now. We are sitting on the backyard and then the alien lands on our backyard. You get to incorporate or transition that alien into workforce of how we perform, like American workforce. In short, you have to coach the alien to be fit in our industry. What are the 2 or 3 things that you will be teaching that alien how they can be more fit into our work culture? This is a creative one, guys. Take it.
It's not any lighter, and I don't quite get your question. You said you are.
So let's say you have to coach an alien to be fit into your organization or the company culture. Alien doesn't have any background of what humans are in this world, right? So we have to tell them and teach them, okay, this is how you work in your work culture. This is what we do to serve our clients, XYZ points. Nobody? Then I move on to the other. Oh, okay.
Michael again.
Let's hear, Michael, your version of this.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. I would say In order for us to be able to teach, personally, if I'm at my backyard and I see some space short of land in my backyard, first thing I would do is to be scared, to freak out. Then I will report it to the government. And if the government says, okay, that I can incorporate them into the workforce, the first thing I would do is to teach them, to lecture, teach them like babies on how, because they're coming from outer space, they don't know how we do things here, is to teach them. And if they don't communicate in our own language, we're going to find a way, either by way of sign language, use signs or something to communicate with them in order for them to be teachable. We teach them, walk them through the line, and make sure they understand what you are saying and what you ask them to do before you actually incorporate them into the workforce. And after you have done all this, if you see that they are actually grappling on what you are telling them, incorporating them into the workforce won't be that difficult. They might not speak the language, but if you just tell them, if raising up your hand is lifting up goods or boxes in a warehouse, you raise up your hand, they lift up the boxes. When you put down your hand, they put down the boxes. If that's what you have to do for them to function, you just have to do that. You raise up your hand, way of teaching them, up the box, lower your hand, they drop the box. That way we want to incorporate them. Everything's about teaching and learning. Over to you, Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Michael. Yeah, the intent of here is that, when you have no idea what that object or thing does, and you have to mold it to your own need, how well and what way you can actually do it. So thank you and well done. Very well done. All right, last two questions. Take this opportunity, everyone. Okay. Let's say action speaks louder than word, right? And everybody has a personal experience on that. What was your experience where you can strongly say, yes, action speaks louder than word? Who's gonna take it?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
I have one story, real life story. Many years ago, more than 20, it was on the year of our 10th wedding anniversary with my wife. And I that time I was working offshore, so I had to go offshore very often, sometimes for periods of 2 months, 3 months at the time. So that year in particular, my wife said, well, I really want a special celebration with my family for our 10-year anniversary. Do whatever it takes so you don't have to go offshore in December, which is when our anniversary is. Well, I talked to my boss and explained the situation to him and say, hey, you can send me offshore as much as you want the whole year, as long as you don't send me in December. And he agreed. And he said, yeah, no, that's fine. I completely understand. That's perfectly fine. So needless to say that I spent most of the year offshore. End of November, I come from my last offshore trip, come back. And 10 days into December, literally the day before our wedding anniversary, my boss come to me and say, I'm sorry to say that, but we need to send you to Mexico because there is a special situation. There is nobody else to take your place. And he gave me all sort of excuses. I said, but that's not what we agree. Your action don't reflect what we agree, what you told me. Well, I had to actually go, and that became kind of a family situation for me. Put my marriage in a very tough situation. But as soon as I was able to find the opportunity to come back, basically I was in the first or second week in January. I took a plane out of Merida, Yucatan in Mexico, because I was working in the oil area in Mexico, and I landed in Houston. Literally went to the office and wrote my resignation on a piece of paper and submitted to my boss. And he actually very surprised when I submitted my resignation. And I basically say, I'm not going to talk for a person that have no character and that is not true to his promises and have no values. So here is my resignation, and I walk away.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
That was courageous. Thanks a lot, Jorge, for sharing that. All right, final question. What are 1 or 2 reasons for which you decide to stay in your work environment?
I'll take it.
All right.
Even though I run out of options to type names and on the poll. Now, why do I stay in my workplace? I only have one reason, it's people. People remains the foundation of everything that I do. I'm going to be the first to admit that I have not been as kind as I would have loved to be all the time, but definitely not in recent times. I've learned so much in my life to understand that people, they remain the foundation of everything we do. At work, at home, on the road, at church, in the neighborhood, the community, wherever we may turn. And that is why I didn't know this until about 6 months ago when somebody actually told me, I am a situational leader. What should that mean to you? If I have 7 direct reports, I don't use number 6, number 7 direct reports, and their experience level ranges from 10 to 40 years. I do not manage them the same way. I do not lead them the same way. And that is situational leadership. I meet them where they are and work with them at that level to bring them up. And if you have as many years of experience as myself and you are delivering what you say you would deliver, I don't spend a lot of time with you. And I tell each person that reports into me that I will be doing that and I'll be doing it on purpose. The second thing that I do to encourage my people is I don't give people ownership in my world. I let them take ownership, but I give them what I call authorship. I will get into a room, I say, this is what needs to change. This is why we need to change. In terms of the hour, you all go and work it out. That is how you get people to take ownership. You can't give ownership to people. Let them take it. But you give them authorship. And because I do that on a consistent basis, people have actually labeled me with certain names. Organizations seek me out for that reason. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thanks a lot, Akin. That was very insightful. Thanks a lot for sharing your idea. Now that we are wrapping up table topics here, Mr. Timer, did all the speakers qualify? We can't hear you, sir.
I'm so sorry. All the speakers qualified.
Thank you. Mr. Ballot Counter, I think we are okay to pop only like unique names, all of them, like everybody spoke here, so 8 names. Oh, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, wow.
Good ones.
It's only my second speech. I don't have room to add Akin to, but all the other names, they're there.
While we are polling, thank you for this opportunity to be your table topic master. I was stretched in the last moment from 5 questions to 15 questions. With that, I am going to hand this meeting over back to our Toastmaster of the day, Anthony. Anthony, back to you.
Thank you for doing an incredible job. At the last minute, jumping on as Table Topics Master and then taking on the extra function of asking even more from various people and coming up with more powerful, engaging questions to help us truly network for success and give each person that sovereign control that they need to be able to exercise their skills of speaking. That is really good. I really appreciate that very much. I just want to make sure, has everyone that needed to vote voted? If you have, let me know that you have for sure. Hopefully you have. And with that, we're going to move forward. And now comes to our final section of our meeting tonight. We had prepared keynote. We had and incredibly wonderful, engaging, impromptu speaking. And now we have the evaluation when everyone gets to present their leadership skills in succinct format and share what they got from today's meeting. With that, we're going to hand this meeting over to our general evaluator, Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic. Sorry, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. As general evaluator, it's my duty and responsibility to evaluate our meetings today. Today's meeting went well. We are prepared.
Michael, if I can pause you before you do, if you can look on the agenda right now, you're going to go through the agenda, and first will be the speech evaluator. Then you're going to ask everyone to give their leadership reports.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Let me pull up the agenda. All right. Thank you for that correction, Mr. Toastmaster. At this time, I will want the speech evaluator to give his report.
Excellent. I am the speech evaluator for Mr. Akin. And I'm going to use the following framework: content, delivery, connection. Have you heard that before? Great. It works. Let's use it again. Content. As I shared earlier, I was deeply moved with Akin's content. I was deeply moved because it was so powerful as he came up with these 4 weapons that we can use to become the best person we can be. And I really appreciated the importance that he gave to sleep, making sure that we are re-energized regularly. We are taking that gift that God has given to us of sleep and our minds to make sure that we're focused on developing that emotional intelligence and knowledge, not just being head knowledge, but effective application knowledge. That was the most important that I really love. It reminded me of a book talking about specifically is not what you know, but is what you do, what you've got, written by Paul J. Meyer, and it was very influential in my life. I really appreciate that emphasis in his presentation. And then words, not motivate, but inspire people. Great content. To improve the content, I would say maybe consider changing the title to attract more people to listen. Maybe something like 4 weapons I use to develop myself to the stratosphere. I don't know, something like that. Number 2, delivery. Regarding delivery, you have powerful voice projection. Everyone, pay attention to Akin. Powerful voice projections are so important. He pauses at the right time. He has great vocal variation. And he used his visual background to give the feeling of being in a Toastmaster board meeting, being right here and giving it. That's fantastic. I love it. Everyone, learn those lessons and see how you can apply it also to your speeches. A point of improvement, maybe consider creating powerful slides that will engage the audience to those powerful points that you were making, that very engaging slides. If you need help, hire a professional graphic designer to get that done. Number 3, connection. Oh, I like it. When it comes to connection, he asked the question, what is weapons? What does that bring to your mind? Engaging the audience with that key word. Fantastic. I really appreciated that. Then he had a point of personal vulnerability. I was struggling with weight. I learned what to do, but I wasn't doing it. When I finally did it, I lost 40 pounds in a few months. Many people in the audience were like, whoa, congratulations. Great points of engagement. To improve, this would be at a professional level, offer a downloadable workshop tool for everyone to apply what you shared. This is really going out there, and that would really hit it out of the park. With that, Thank you for an incredible keynote speech, Mr. Hakim.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. This time
Thank you so much.
I'll call on the accountant to give the accountant report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Majority of us are doing really, really good. I didn't catch much. Only a few people that I caught. Jorge, when you do your grammarian speech, you use one R, one Akin, when you did a speaker, I catch one Abby, when you do your table topic, I catch one and one And then Susan, when you do the table topic speech, I catch one and one That's all I got. Thank you. Everybody is a very professional speaker. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Accountant. This time I'll call on the grammarian to give the grammarian report.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. This group is very hard to evaluate as a grammarian because you guys don't make grammatic mistakes. It's very hard to evaluate you. Everybody just was almost perfect. I just catch Anthony throwing an overflow when he means overflown, but he picked it up in the middle of the word and fixed it right there. So not even that. And Jessica, I think you use the sentence, everybody has their opinion of doing things. Probably better ways to say everybody has their opinion on how to do things. But other than that, and I really think that that was minor. The word of the day was used twice by Anthony and once by Susan. And I got a lot of very interesting sentences that I really want to make mention of them. Akin was, when he was referring at his mind, or one of his weapons, his mind, he said, guard your mind. This is your most powerful weapon. Do you believe you can, or do you believe you cannot? I think that sentence has a lot of power. Susan, I love your sentence when you said, you cannot do it on your own without the sovereignty of God. Definitely, that's a very true, very powerful sentence. And Anthony, when you said, help others achieve their highest purpose in life. And again, Akim used, as a leader, I focus on effectiveness, not on efficiency. I think that's a very, very true, very clear, very powerful principle. And Anthony's evaluation, grammatically speaking, was perfect. And but I want to mention that I love the advice that you give to Akim at the end and how to go to the next level and become more of a professional speaker but really by promoting yourself every time that you speak to the public. And that's a very important aspect of being a public speaker. Other than that, great meeting, great speeches. Everybody did very well. Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Grammarian. Well, at this time, I'll call on the timer to give his timer's report.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. For tonight's timing, we had only one prepared speech. Akin was supposed to use between 7 minutes and 10 minutes. He used 9 minutes and 13 seconds. And for the table topic, it ranges between 1:30 to 2:26. If I need to go through them one by one, Jorge, 2 minutes, 5 seconds. Susan, 2 minutes on the dot. Anthony, 2 minutes, 18 seconds. Michael for the first speech, the first table topic answer, 1 minute, 34 seconds. Jessica, 1 minute, 42 seconds. Akin for the first answer, 1 minute, 40 seconds. And Michael again, and myself, 2 minutes, 26 seconds. And Michael for the second one, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Michael again, 1 minute, 50 seconds. Jorge, 2 minutes, 8 seconds. Akin, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Evaluator, Anthony was supposed to use 3 minutes. He used 3 minutes, 10 seconds. So everyone qualified. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, for putting me in line. I'm still learning. So hopefully when I do it next time, I'll get everything straight. So it's time now for me to to evaluate the meeting and how well we did today. Today's meeting went well. We were well prepared. We started on time. We acknowledged guests, though there were no guests present, but we did acknowledge the guests. And we encourage everyone to participate in a table topic, and we also encourage the president speak about encouragement, and the tabletop, the Toastmaster also encouraged us with his opening speech. Our meeting room was filled, but not on time. We really did a fire brigade approach to fill them at the last minute. As a matter of fact, everything was filled. The table topic were very engaging. I like the table topic. As a matter of fact, I look forward to table topic on our meeting days. It was very engaging, learning new things, and I believe every one of us did too. The meeting went well today. Everything was on time. But one thing I will encourage us for improvement is to use our word of the day, including myself. I don't think anybody used it while we are speaking, except for our Toastmaster.
And
He
Susan.
did not use them. Say again.
And Susan.
And Susan. So we should please endeavor to use it. If it comes to us to practice it, when we see the agenda out, we see the table topic, the word of the day and the theme, let's practice it. Let's use it. Let's use it in sentence. That way, when we come to on our meeting day, we'll actually use them. If we have guests, that will be another way for us to encourage them to use the word of the day is there for a reason, for us to use it and to incorporate it into what we are doing, so that everything can sync. The perfection and effectiveness that we're talking about, everything will sync with the meeting. Besides that, everything went well. And over to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Michael. Great job. You filled in for a general evaluator role. You are practicing it. You're improving. We're all doing that, moving out of our comfort zone. Everyone took your respective leadership roles. You took specific impromptu speaking cues and didn't let Avi hang in the air while he was asking a question with silence response. Rather, you took a shot at it, and I congratulate you on that. Some of us, like Michael, love to be able to even give multiple answers. Fantastic. He's got great energy with that. I love it. I really appreciate this. This event was also a major event for us to have a powerful opportunity to network for success. I want you to think about this because really many opportunities we have, but this is one of the most powerful times. Why is it? Because this is the only time I know where you actually get to practice skills that you want to develop, to communicate your heart, to communicate your message. Before you have to give it in any event of any kind, guess what? You can practice it right here. You've got a presentation to make to the executive board, to a client, to prospects, to PMI, anywhere. You can bring it here and practice it. Whenever there's an opportunity for speaking, grab it right away. So let me come in and practice. Why? Because this is a truly great, powerful networking event. If you share what you're going to share at work, if you share what you're going to share in your keynote, we can advertise for you. We can promote you. We can tell the world about you. We've got our social media platforms, whether it's Getter or Gab or LinkedIn, the really professional networks, or our emails, or tell our friends at work, coworkers, everyone else. We can tell everyone about what your unique strengths are. And I really want everyone to be encouraged. I want to encourage you right now to think about how you are going to promote the strength that you have, not because you're trying to beat your chest and saying how great I am, but because of the value that you offer. That value, if it's hidden, no one knows about it, I cannot tell my network about it. But if I know what strengths you've got, I can tell others about it. And I want to promote you, and I want everyone here to think more of others than they do of themselves, and see how we can help each other to land more clients, to open more doors, to help each other get promoted, to really encourage one another to move out of our comfort zone by constantly not just clapping in our actions, not just saying kind words, but what we heard today from Akin and many others and Jorge. What did we hear? Your actions are going to speak louder than your words. What you're learning now, it's great. What you do with it will show whether you really will benefit or not, and whether you will have this specific Southwest PMI Toastmasters to enter the stratosphere that we have not entered even up to today. We've got great awards in the past, but we can do so much more by helping each other to achieve that, and bringing in, attracting others, bringing people from PMI, from our workers, our work environments. Invite friends, invite family members at whatever age they're at, whether they are 9 or 90. Say, come in, join, let's participate, and let's help each other to network for success, for a lasting impact, a lasting legacy that will last forever. Because you're not going to take your money with you when you're gone from this world, but you are going to take the impact that you've had on the kingdom of God in your heart and on the lives of others. I want you to invite more people to that great eternal legacy that will last forever. With that, we've got one great opportunity when it came to Table Topics Master. The Table Topics Master had everyone speak, and we got to vote. And in that vote, we had a result. That result led to us voting for one person as the great Table Topics impromptu speaker for tonight. And who is that? Well, before I say that, I need you to unmute yourself now. Come on, let's give it up. I want to make sure, let's start getting ready. Come on, we've got us. We're encouraging this person, and we are. Everyone waiting, wondering who that is. Well, tune in next week, and I'll tell you. No, I'm just kidding.
Come on.
Okay. I won't leave you in suspense. I won't. I promise I won't. But I was really tempted to be able to leave you in suspense. I think it would be great if we could do that. With that, our winner for tonight is none other than my beloved bride, Susan Ala.
Good job, Susan.
Thank you. Unexpected.
Good job.
Congratulations, Susan. And Susan, what did she do? Did you notice something, everyone? We want to teach this to everyone. She did something that I've seen very few people do, and we need to teach that more often. When a question is thrown at you, you control the answer. In a Table Topics event like this, if you're at a Table Topics competition with the district, you can't get away with that, but you can get away with it here, just like celebrities do. You go to an interview, they're interviewing some press guy or gal, and that press reporter throws something, and they'll say, well, that's a good question, I appreciate that. And then they go on and give the answer they want to give, completely unrelated possibly. Celebrities, politicians, leaders of all kinds, great, why not? You own the platform, you choose your response. And she did a great job with that. I really want everyone to take that and say, what message do I really want to give? I don't have to just stick to the question that was given. Now, if you can't take that question and springboard and give that, that will be more powerful. But I really love that. And I want to encourage everyone else to be able to do that and learn that when you're at work. your boss asks you a question and you don't necessarily want to delve too deep. It says, hey, tell me something negative about your coworker. And you can say, well, I'm really glad that you asked that, but let me tell you what I do like about my coworker. Woo, that boss is going to go, whoa, that was a great answer. That might be one way of flipping things around. Or your coworker comes in, hey, I want to tell you something bad about my boss and what my boss is doing. You turn that around to an opportunity and say, network for success. I'm not going to talk bad about somebody behind their back. I'm going to tell you something good about them. And I'm going to encourage you to focus on their strength rather than negative. Anybody can criticize, but very few can build up. And this is your opportunity to build up and learn. If you have someone that you don't necessarily engage with well, how can you engage better? How can you bring them out of their shell? Like Akin shared multiple times, how can you improve your leadership skill when you're faced with a bad environment, rather than just go with the flow and criticize like everyone. Anyone can criticize, right? It's so easy to be negative. Just go with the flow. Just turn on the news station. They've got negative news on everything you can imagine. They'll select who they want to pick on today and they'll give something negative and make up facts on their own, right? Forget that. You are going to lead by controlling your impromptu responses, whether it is on email or on social media or in person or on the phone or in a Toastmaster meeting. I really love that. Thank you. Thank you so much for exemplifying that, Susan, and for every one of us to remember how to do that. You did that masterfully, and I appreciate that. Everyone did an amazing job with your impromptu speaking. Everyone. I really appreciate everybody. Really, I was listening to everyone. I'm taking notes. I really appreciated all the engagements. After Akin gave his keynote, I thought, wow, there's nothing more to say, nothing more to add. And everyone's added more value and more value and more value. Those who missed out tonight, whew, they missed out on a great opportunity. Yes, you can go back, watch the video. Unfortunately, many people don't. They should. It would benefit them. And we'll do what we can to engage them by sharing with our network. But by being here live, we're here. We get to engage. Thank you for networking for success. With that, I'm going to hand our meeting back to our president, Akin Oni.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Wow, what a meeting. And what a way to facilitate a club meeting. Your performance tonight, Anthony, and again, I'm not going to hide my feelings. Your performance tonight, and I will encourage you to go back and watch the video and watch yourself, what you did tonight. In fact, because of your performance tonight, I am beginning from this meeting, I am starting what I call shout out moment at every meeting. We need to begin giving shout out to one performer during each meeting. And the presiding officer is going to pick anybody, but they have to give reasons why they are asking us to give a shout out to that person. And it's no, I'm sorry.
Lost you.
Okay, it's no other person other than Anthony. Why am I saying this? Let's give him a big round of applause. Let's give him a big round of applause. I mean, you actually touched me tonight. And I'm glad that you are the maiden winner of a shout out moment in this club this year. What am I talking about? I know we've gotten about 5 minutes left. You started this meeting before the meeting started. You zeroed in on a member and you passionately asked them questions about how they are doing. I will tell you, I joined the Toastmasters Club during the second half of 2016. What you did tonight was the first time somebody will ask that kind of question. You probably have done that before, but tonight was the first time, and I'm speaking from here, that somebody had to ask another member a question so passionately, so genuinely, wanting answers. Because you recall, I didn't turn on my video. I was actually finishing my dinner when I logged on. You asked the question the first time, you asked the question again. That was very good. So thank you so much, Anthony, for the leadership that you are providing this club. I am so encouraged by even if what you did tonight is just what you've ever done here. That was spectacular. That was phenomenal. So thank you. And that's why, as the presiding officer for this meeting tonight, I am awarding you tonight's shout out moment for the incredible effort that you put into the meeting. Before the meeting, during the meeting, up till the end of the meeting, you encourage everybody. In fact, somebody is going to watch this video and they'll say, wow, why did I not go to that meeting? Just because of you. On behalf of the officers team, I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight. Before I wrap this up, we've got about 3 more minutes. Do we have a nominee for Toastmasters at the next meeting in 2 weeks? Any volunteer for the Toastmasters? I know Anthony has set the bar really high, and it can be scary for somebody else to want to be the Toastmaster. But you see, that is why we are project managers. Somebody is going to set the bar so high, and you are going to at least try to meet that or even exceed it, and you can do it. So who is going to be that person? Yes? Okay, maybe I immediately past president because he's smiling right now. Does everyone agree? Does everyone agree? Thank you. So, Toastmaster,
Okay, you got me.
Toastmaster.
You got me.
You said what?
No, you got me.
Yeah, that's right. I got you. Thank you very much for allowing me to get you. So, Toastmaster, we're probably going to be our Toastmaster for the next club meeting. Who's going to be our general evaluator? Yes, I need a volunteer. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Awe. Now, with that said, when we have those 2 people leading our meeting in 2 weeks, we don't need to be afraid of anything. They will do what they need to do. They know the ropes. They understand what needs to be done. We just need to allow them to do their work. And that's really a lot of what I'm going to be doing this year. When we assign responsibilities to people, please, let's just allow them to do their work. Thank you both so very much for volunteering. I really love you all. I appreciate you all. And with that said, is there any announcements, any closing thought, anybody, before we close the meeting?
We have our officers meeting on Monday at 7 p.m.
Thank you very much, Ohe. Yes, please, all officers, including the immediate past president, please, let's attend that meeting because we have a few things to talk about regarding the mechanics of how we run the club meetings this year, including the fact that we're going to be having presiding officers per month. It's not going to be me showing up every meeting. I will be there, but I'm not going to preside over the meeting. And we can appoint anybody. It doesn't have to be an officer. It could be somebody else. Yes, Mr. Michael.
On our club website, if you click on the link for the Southwest website itself, it goes to GoDaddy, and it said that's expired. So how can we, because a lot of people might go into our website and try to log in there. It says expired.
Which website did you go to?
So you go through the international. If you log into Toastmaster International, then you go from Toastmaster International, you go to Southwest. When I click on my profile, then I go to Southwest Project Management Toastmaster Club. When I click on that, it takes me to the actual page. And when on that actual page, there's a link for the Southwest website itself. When you click on that link, it takes you to GoDaddy.
It is set to swpmt.org in the Toastmaster International site. And the renewal of that domain is annual. It used to be 5 years or 3 years, but during like 2 years back, we changed it to per year. So new president can come and renew or take the budget for renewing that every year from them.
Okay. All right. I'm going to reach out to you, Avi, and how best to do that. I'll do whatever we need to do. No problems. And if I can't do it for whatever reason, I will ask any of the officers to see if they can just help out. I mean, I want to make sure that we breed a number of presidents during this Toastmasters year. That way, when the year ends, we will have a lot of options in terms of who can just step up and be president. And we always support that, just like we did this past year and like we're doing now. So thank you, Avi. I will look into that. Any other comments, anyone? I know we are 2 minutes over and I'm so sorry. Okay, with that said, I just hang on a sec here. I want to make sure that I stop